Welcome back, everybody. I hope your New Year's going great for you. I know a resolution or a commitment for a lot of people was to really get going and start on their hopes and dreams of starting a little small business to something to engage in, a hobby, or make it something more, something that was profitable for you and your family. And so a lot of people had asked me how we got started, what equipment we needed, where we sold that. And so just to answer that, the first place that we really sold at was farmers markets. And so farmers markets are a great place because they're bringing in people that are there for the fresh fruits and veggies and different treats that they've enjoyed at the market. And so I thought it would be a good idea to show you some of the physical equipment you need to be able to sell at the markets, and then later on talk about some of the more professional business side of what you're going to encounter about selling at farmers markets. All right, guys, so just starting off with the basics, you are going to need a little pop-up tent. The spaces usually at farmers markets are 10 by 10 or 10 by 15 if they're giving more space, but generally they're 10 by 10, so a little pop-up tent from Walmart or Academy or wherever else is what you're going to need to get started. You're also going to need the weights because most farmers markets want you to have at least 5 or 10 pounds on each leg. And that's just so any gust of wind or anything doesn't pick up your tent and send it flying and cause an accident or anything. So you're going to have a tent and weights. You'll see here we have the collapsible wagons. Those are always just helpful with carrying everything to and fro because a lot of times you're not going to be able to park right next to or in the same parking lot as where the market is being held. So you're going to have to tug your stuff a little bit of ways. Chair is always nice just for a little bit of downtimes because there's always a little bit. You're going to need a few tables. You're going to need a couple of tables because you have to display your product that you're selling. You're also going to need to invest in a few nice tablecloths and displays to show your product. You're going to end up with a few plastic bins. It's just inevitable to carry everything, and some lights if you're doing any sort of night events or anything like that. You are also going to want to be able to have at your disposal either a money bag from the bank or what we use is a cash register. And you're also going to need to have an avenue to accept debit cards or credit cards because so many people are just carrying around their card with them and won't have cash. So you're going to miss out on a lot of sales if you don't provide people with that option. So whether it be Square or PayPal or some other avenue that allows you to swipe a card, you're going to want to investigate that and see if it's something that you can do, if it pencils out and makes financial sense for you, which they don't take a big fee. It used to be 2.75%, and I don't know what it just went up to. So those are all things that you should consider. So these are all some of the physical equipment things you'll need whenever you're going to start selling at farmers market. And now I just wanted to talk about some of the more business professional side of selling at a farmers market. All right, guys, now that we've seen all of the equipment that we use to be able to sell at farmers markets, we're going to talk a little bit more about the professional or the business side of it. So whenever you find a market that you want to sell at, they're going to ask you to go up and sign up online, and they'll charge anywhere between a $10 or $30 registration fee. And there'll be a couple of pages of paperwork for you to fill out where you tell about your product, where you're from, where you're based out of, the uniqueness of your product, why you think it would sell well at their market. Every market you go to has things like that, and the bigger portion of it is it tells about their rules. It tells about how if the market's open from 8 to 12, they expect you to be there from 8 to 12 unless you sell out. They talk about the dates that the market is open, and so they expect you to try and be there as frequently as you can to be able to sell your product, and just so that there are more vendors at a market. If you're gonna if at the market you're gonna collect sales tax, you need to have a sales tax certificate to be able to do that. These are all more compliance issues. You need to make sure that you have all your permitting, your food handler's license. whatever city and county that you're working in. You have to make sure you have all that stuff in place. You have to, say you were going to make a food product, you have to make sure that you are within food cottage laws, because that is how people that make products that sell at farmers markets, that those are the guidelines that they adhere to. If you are going to give away samples, they have to be individually enclosed in a little container so that they could easily just been tossed away whenever they've tried your sample. So you can't just hand them something from a bag, unfortunately. And so those are all things you have to take into account as far as compliance and as far as signing up at a market. And so you have to realize, if you're going to be at a farmer's market, there's going to be fees every week, and a lot of them, it could vary from $10 to $40, just contingent upon the market you're at. Some markets are a lot smaller and don't demand as high of a price, and because they don't get a lot of foot traffic, and other markets have really good representation, really good marketing. They offer a lot of different benefits to people that come, whether it be some sort of entertainment for the people that come, whether someone's singing for tips or something like that, or just a really great location that will generate a lot of foot traffic for you. You just be cognizant of all those things whenever you're going to be selling at farmers markets. Just be ready, because the weather can turn on a dime. And so another thing is, you need to make sure you have a personal insurance policy or a commercial policy, just in case something happens, because we had an instance this past year where the tent we were using lifted up and scooted right down the middle of the farmers market, and we were lucky it didn't knock anything down. But had it hurt someone, or say scratched up someone's car, that would have been something we would have had to take care of. So those are all things that you need to be weary of and just aware of, really, whenever you're going to be selling at farmers markets, because it can be a lot of fun, and it can be something that is really a profitable aspect for you and your family. But there are just avenues to be aware of. Guys, I hope this video was helpful. We walked through all the different equipment that we use, talk about the compliance that you need to be aware of, the paperwork you're gonna have to fill out once you find a market you want to be at. You have to apply to make sure that they can have whatever you're selling at their market. If you make cookies and they have 4 people that make cookies, you're probably not going to get in. You wouldn't want to be at a market where you already have such competition like that. So hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, I'm sure I forgot a thing or two. So leave any questions or comments below about selling at farmers markets. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.